Welcome back. It's episode 112 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. As always, I'm here with Troy. Happy Sunday, Troy. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Just stuff around the house. Had to take my son to hockey, and now my wife will bring him back from hockey so I can record.
Well, how nice of her. Because if we could do a show if you were doing that. Yeah, pretty lazy weekend around here. Got some stuff done. Had a lot of time to work on today's show. So hopefully everyone enjoys it. Have a couple announcements, though, before we get started. First, we're going to have a guest on our next show, which is kind of, how long has it been since we had a guest on the show?
Long time. Probably, you could say episode was 99, right? When Jeremy was on for the 99 Gretzky.
Has it really been that long?
I feel like it's been that long, but I don't know. Maybe it hasn't been.
There's been no reason in particular either why we haven't. We're just probably been kind of lazy and reaching out to people and doing that, but it will be fun to have some people back on the show. And we do have a number of folks lined up. So next show, which will be Thursday, we're going to have Grant Sandground, who's the current VP of product development at Upper Deck, on the show. Really excited to talk to him about some more big picture type stuff. We talked to the product managers like Tony and Billy a lot about individual sets that come out. So very much looking forward to that conversation with Grant. But then speaking of Billy, then the following show on Monday, we have a pretty big set that comes out this week in Metal Universe. He's going to be on to chat about everything Metal Universe hockey. And when we were talking about this over message, I'm going to quote him here. He said, "This is the best metal yet of the new sets." So we're going to have to see why he's so pumped about metal this year. And we'll have had the product in hand by then. So very much looking forward to that conversation. And then, Troy, should we just invite Tony on after that?
Probably.
We got to the Upper Deck show. Is that what we'll call this now? Or?
Yeah, we got to keep our Upper Deck guests coming through. So yeah, let's do Tony after Billy.
Apparently, yeah. Next announcement is kind of a big one for us. Not probably big for most people, but we've actually reserved and purchased our very first table at a card show, which neither of us have ever done before. So a little bit scary in that perspective. There's a local card show called the Minnesota Card Show. Very creative name, here in Rosemont, Minnesota, not Rosemont, Illinois, where the National was.
Yep.
But we're going to have a table on Saturday, September 23rd. And I think it's from like 9 to 3. So if you are in Minnesota or you really want to meet us that bad, I guess you could fly here and come to the show. I don't imagine that happening.
No.
But hey, never say never. So yeah, we're going to set up. We're going to have some like Gong Show related stuff. We'll have some cards there. You going to be putting up all your Pecorines, Troy? Get out of the Pecorine game at the card show here or no?
No, I probably won't have any Pekkas, but I keep having this feeling like, because it's a Gong Show, right? We're a Gong Show. Like they'll open the doors for everyone to come in and like immediately our banner will fall down and like our table will collapse. That's just what I think is going to happen.
Or the power would go out, because that always seems to happen when we record an episode. Yeah, we're going to bring some cards to sell. Like I said, we're going to have some Gong Show stuff. There's some other guys we're going to be with that should have hockey cards too. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll represent the hockey hobby well at the show. But again, we hope anyone that's local would come say hi on Saturday, September 23rd from 9 to 3, and we'll see how it goes. So, Troy, we're also now less than a month away from training camps opening all across the NHL. So the season's coming, which is kind of exciting. One of the things we did in the last couple of days is we've teased sort of the idea for a long time now about our 2023-24 preview series. So we're going to do a 10-parter that we've mapped out, and that'll begin in a couple weeks and should lead everyone right into the season and hopefully give some good content and information there. So there's just probably a couple more episodes of, I guess, our summer series of content. So I'm looking forward to really digging into our 2023-24 previews.
Definitely.
And then lastly, just a reminder that the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. That means we rely on support from listeners like yourself to help us cover our expenses, continue to produce more and hopefully better hockey card content and fun initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. There's a couple choices right now to support us via Patreon. We have a general support, which anyone can do. There's our out of 199, which means you'd be one of the first 199 supporters of our show, or we have triple gold, which is a little bit higher commitment there. But for all of our patrons, you get access to our Discord server. We're going to be doing the 5K challenge again. We talked about that on the last show, where the winner for 2023-24 is going to win a box of the cup that I'm staring at right now, and I kind of want to open. I'm gonna lie. So it's very easy to support us, and we're very grateful for everyone that does. You can go into the show description, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on a podcast app. There's a link to our Patreon there. On our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, there's a Become a Patron link, I think right at the top of the page there. You can go to the Patreon website directly at patreon.com and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show, or you can go to our Instagram and TikTok profiles and our link tree. There's a link there. We have one new patron since our last show, JVD. Thank you so much, Jay. We really appreciate it. And I think, Troy, we're ready for the game plan if you are.
On today's show, we begin with the greatest NHL player to wear number 12. Then we take a look at one-of-one hockey cards that we will do some analysis on, and then look at some would we rather buy, sell, or hold. Then it's off to hobby news, followed by new product releases. And we finish the show with mailbag and more personal pickups, Josh. I am just flabbergasted how many personal pickups. I only have one. I think you have one, maybe two, but
it's 3 shows in a row.
3 shows in a row.
There you go.
What can you say? We're a Hockey Cards podcast, so good thing we have lots of hockey cards to buy. All right, Josh, we're on it. Number 12 for episode 112. The greatest NHL player to wear number 12, per the Hockey Writers. Greatest NHL player to wear each number article is Jarome Iginla.
You did it. You hate saying that name.
Believe me, I always want to say Yarmir, even though I know it's not even close. It's Jarome. And then I always want to go Iginla or something like Iginla. Jarome Iginla. I've practiced today. Wow. I think I did it all right.
We're all so proud, Troy.
Oh my gosh. All right. Runners up for number 12 are listed as Dickie Moore, Eric Stahl, and Patrick Marleau. So there you go. All right. Jarome Iginla, right winger, born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Grew up in St. Albert, Alberta. Interesting.
Wasn't the last guy from St. Albert too?
Oh, who's the last guy? I didn't know who the last guy was. 11. I didn't know who it was. Who was it? I don't think it was St. Albert, though.
Wait. Oh, 11 was Messier.
Oh, yeah, Messier, duh.
Yeah, he was born in Edmonton and grew up. Did you just change that, or?
No, I looked it up. That's right. I changed it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
We'll figure that out. All right. Iginla was the 11th overall draft pick in the 1995 NHL entry draft by your Dallas Stars.
Stolen Stars.
I had no clue that he was originally drafted.
Me neither. I was just going to say that.
I was flabbergasted when I saw it. I was like, oh, really? So then I had to dig in what happened. So, however, December 19th, 1995, he was traded by the Stars along with Corey Millen to the Calgary Flames for Joe Nieuwendyk. So I guess Nieuwendyk was having a holdout with the Flames. It sounded like it was going nowhere. And the Flames decided to trade him to Dallas and picked up a pretty good player. Yeah. Not like Nieuwendyk was bad either. They're both pretty good.
A pretty fair trade.
Pretty fair trade. So Iginla played in 1,554 regular season NHL games over a 20-season NHL career. Iginla began his career playing, I'll call it 15 and a half seasons with the Calgary Flames. And then over his final 4.5 seasons, he had stops in Pittsburgh, Boston, Colorado, and Los Angeles. For his awards and accomplishments, he's in the Hall of Fame. 1996-97 All-Rookie Team. 1-time Art Ross winner. 2-time Maurice Richard winner. 1-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, which was then the Lester B. Pearson Award when he won it.
Yep.
One-time Clancy Trophy winner. 3-time NHL First All-Star Team selection. 1-time NHL Second All-Star Team selection. 6-time NHL All-Star Game selection. Named to the Athletics Top 100 Players of the NHL Expansion Era. And his number 12 is retired by the Calgary Flames.
So here's another guy, Troy, who won the Ted Lindsay. Yep. Basically the MVP as voted on by the NHL, the players, but did not win a Hart Trophy.
Correct. Yeah, it's kind of we've got a couple of those in it now that we've seen. It's kind of interesting. I think it's all just a popularity contest.
Yeah.
There's 5 guys every year there in the running or whatever, how many ever there are, and so it comes down to popularity. All right, for his career, Iginla scored 625 goals, 675 assists for dead even 1,300 points. That's pretty cool. That's what I want. I want mine to be dead even because our human brains need nice round numbers.
Were you surprised he scored 600 goals?
I wasn't as surprised as that he almost had as many goals as assists. I always get surprised when I see that. I always assume people have way more assists, but I didn't realize they were that close. But yeah, 625 is a lot. I probably didn't. I would have said maybe 500.
Where does that rank him all time? Top 10, right? Something like that?
Oh, yeah. He's in the top 10, I think.
Okay.
All right. Iginla made the playoffs in 8 of his 20 NHL seasons, compiling 37 goals, 31 assists for 68 points and 81 NHL playoff games played. During his career, Iginla had 60-plus points for 12 straight seasons from 1999/2000 to 2011/12. In fact, out of his 20 NHL seasons, he had 50-plus points in 16 of them. Iginla had no, or why did I put no seasons of 100 points? Oh, he didn't. Iginla had no seasons of 100-plus points. I just thought that was one of those interesting things.
Very consistently very good, right?
Yeah, consistently very, very good. Like, he never had over 100, though. However, over his career, Iginla had a total of 17 seasons with 20-plus goals, and 2 of those seasons, he registered 50 or more goals. Iginla also had a streak of 30-plus goals for 11 straight seasons, which is incredible.
Yeah. Missing the playoffs 12 out of 20 years is a little depressing, though.
Yeah, he did miss a couple times.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. Best season of his NHL career from a point standpoint was his 2007-8 season, where Iginla had 50 goals, 48 assists for 98 points and 82 games played.
Okay, how many times in NHL history has a guy scored 50 goals and not had 100 points?
No, he's one of those guys, just not a lot of assists. He wasn't an assist machine.
Puck hog.
Yeah, puck hog, that's what we call. Yeah, he could be a puck hog, though. Or I mean, he legit backed it up why he was a puck hog. All right, Iginla was a fantastic player, a consistent goal scorer over the course of his NHL career. When Iginla was with the Flames, he was the centerpiece of those teams while being a constant offensive threat. He also matched his offensive prowess with fierceness and his passion for playing the game. In his prime, Iginla was one of the most dominant, I always use the air quotes, power forwards in the game. He had a combination of finesse and physicality. He was never going to beat you with his speed, but Iginla developed his game around being effective when he had space. And to create that space, Iginla had to be physical and intimidate his opponents. Iginla was also not afraid to drop the gloves when needed. However, it was kind of interesting to read. He didn't like fighting. It wasn't something he enjoyed. I don't know if any of them really enjoy it, but it was something that he needed to do, and it was part of his game, so he did it. And I tried to look it up. There's no official NHL source, but it looks like he had 11 Gordie Howe hat tricks is what I could find.
Wow.
So a goal, a fight, and an assist in a game. And when you think of Iginla, I know Calgary fans, one of the most famous plays that he was involved in was when he dropped the gloves and fought Vincent Lecavalier in Game 3 of the 2004 Stanley Cup Finals. And it's absolutely incredible. You have 2 superstars dropping their gloves and fighting in a Stanley Cup final game. If you find highlights, it's crazy. It's awesome. Probably doesn't happen in today's game, and it rarely happens anyways, but that was one of those instances, and he's kind of remembered for that, kind of a rallying cry for that team. Overall, fantastic player, would do anything for his team, anything needed to win. I actually learned a lot more about Iginla doing the research for this segment. I thought I knew some about him, but no, I didn't know that much about him after I started researching him a little bit. And then finally, Iginla was named as a special advisor to Flames GM Craig Conroy on June 15th of this year. And they were former teammates, I think, with the Flames. Yeah, I can't remember if those Flames or not, but
probably a good move. There's a lot of, it seems like, cultural repair that needs to happen in that organization right now.
Yeah. So definitely cool story there. I didn't put it in here, but he's a charitable guy. You can find some stuff. He did a lot of stuff with diabetes research. He runs a hockey camp where he gives all the profits to the Diabetes Foundation. So it's pretty cool. It seems like a great guy, great person. All his teammates loved him. All right, for his fun, interesting facts, his nickname was Iggy. I like Iggy. Iginla made his NHL debut, Josh, not in a regular season game, in the 1996 Stanley Cup playoffs. I always enjoy when guys make their debuts in the playoffs because they finish their junior season. That's what happened with Iginla. He was signed to a contract, flown to Calgary immediately after his junior season ended in, I'm going to get this wrong. Is it Kamloops?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Kamloops. He appeared in 2 games for the Flames in their series against the Blackhawks, or their playoff series against the Blackhawks. 2 games, he had 1 goal and 1 assist.
Nice.
So good job.
Kamloops is an awesome name. I wish our dumb town, Farmington, named Kamloops.
I always write it Camp Loops, and I know that's wrong. It's Kamloops. No P in there. Iginla scored a goal, Josh, in his first regular season NHL game he played, but that came after his first playoff game, which is just, I love that. Between 1998 and 2008, only Jaromir Jagr scored more goals than Iginla.
That's a cool stat.
Let that sink in. I had no clue. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then last fun fact, I love this. Iginla was a huge fantasy baseball nerd. I guess his teammates said they were in a league and they'd wake up or they'd look at like 3 a.m. and Iginla had done like 20-some transactions. Like he just went all in. I guess he was a baseball player in his youth too, and was on like the World Canada, one of their junior teams for baseball, which I thought was pretty interesting.
So a really good athlete overall.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely a good athlete. So that's what we got for Iginla. His rookie card, 1994-95 SP Premier Prospects, number 181. Josh, this doesn't even look like a card. To me, it looks like a poster or something. It's probably the picture's bad, but it's got the SP here. Premier Prospects. Obviously,
maybe Upper Deck should do a do-over for this.
Yeah.
One.
Well, he's one of those guys that doesn't have a Young Guns. I always like finding the guys that don't have Young Guns. Team Canada jersey, obviously. PSA 10 has a pop of 73 with a gem rate of 9%. I'm going to show the back of the card too, just in case our YouTube watchers.
Back's better than the front.
Yeah, the back is better than the front. The last sale I could find was on March 2nd of this year for $306.08 US via eBay and verified in Terapeak. Now, just be careful when you search for this card. If you're looking for it, there also is this. There's a die cut version of this card. Look very similar, except you can obviously see the die cut on the top and the bottom. It's got kind of the rounded edge. And that PSA 10 version of that card, the die cut, goes in the $750 to $900 US range.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's the chase.
Yep. I didn't write down the PSA 10 pop of that one, but I'm assuming it's pretty low. So that's what we got. Jarome Iginla. I got it right.
Said it right every time.
Said it right every time. Amazing.
You want to talk about some 101s, Troy?
Let's do 101s.
Is there anything more exciting than opening a pack or box and seeing that magic serial number?
Have you
101?
Have you had that? Have you done that?
One.
You got it. You got one. Okay, I got one too.
Yeah, it's the best. Or conversely, if you see one listed on Facebook Marketplace or an auction, right, it gets, it plays against our psychology, right? You think that they're just the most special type of cards that there is, and they are, which is definitely true. But we also have to consider the fact that more and more are being printed. Every year, it seems like we have more and more 101s that enter the marketplace. So I think it's becoming harder and harder to figure out which ones are truly special and which ones will have the most long-term appeal, desire / value. I've actually never seen a good resource, Troy, that tracks 101s, but
no, we have a question about it in Mailbag too. And it's like, someone has to start this. Is it us, Josh? But I don't want it. I don't think I would be very good at it, but someone's got to
do
start
it for 2 days.
Yeah, someone's got to start this database. Before we keep going, sorry, I got to jump in. I did it right there. Jarome Iginla is number 16th all time in career goals. I had to look it up.
Okay, yeah, not top 10.
Okay.
Good follow up there. Okay, so back to 101s.
Yeah.
So there's not really a good resource that tracks, but so I was thinking about like a player like McDavid or Auston Matthews who've been around now for what 7, 8 years. How many 101s do you think they have? Like, would you be surprised if it's on a number like 500 or something like that? I don't think I would be.
I don't think I would be surprised if it was that high. You should be able to look this up if anyone's listening and go to, I think TCDB might have a filter for 101s. I can't remember if they do, but if anywhere does have a filter, they might have it.
Well, it's got to be in the hundreds, right? Because you think they put out about 25 sets a year.
Yep.
There's 3 or 4 young guns a set nowadays. Yeah, I think there's become more and more. So I think the overall point is that there's just a lot.
Yeah.
And we've been featuring a number of these 101 sales lately in our Instagram posts because there's been a lot of new sets that have come out. So like Stature's had a few, maybe Black Diamond. I can't remember which ones, but it got me thinking about just 101s and the fact again that there's more and more that seem to be coming out all the time. That how do you know whether this one is a good buy or will it last the test of time?
Yep.
Right. And be valuable down the road, or is it one you should actually take advantage of the fact that maybe you pulled it in a pack or you got a good deal on it, where you can flip it into something that might be more meaningful to your PC, whatever your collecting goal is, whether you're trying to build value in your collection or just collect the cards that you love the most. So I thought that we would take a little bit of time today as we're kind of still in our summer series here and talk about the attributes that really make 101s special or different from each other, and then go through some examples where we'll kind of give our own opinion. Is this, now that we've kind of gone through these factors, is this a example of one that we would, if we were a buyer, that we would buy, or if we had it, we might consider selling it or we'll hold it because we think it would be a good card to keep from the future, for in the future. I'm going to give our typical disclaimer here too. We always do this, but I sort of feel like we have to.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to focus on a lot of the factors that really determine the value of 101s, knowing full well that a huge part of enjoying the hobby is the sort of collect what you love, right? And value doesn't always have to play a factor. The issue with that, though, a little bit in a Hockey Cards podcast is if the only message that matters was collect that you love what you love, we'd have a really short podcast. So I could actually do it for you right now here, Troy. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 112 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. We have lots of opinions on cards, but hey, just collect what you love.
Thank you.
Well, that was our show. We'll see you next time.
Probably the highest rated show ever.
Probably the highest rated show. A lot easier to prepare. I'll tell you that much, right? We can just do that twice a week. So yeah, we're going to focus a lot on the values, but of course we know that value doesn't matter if the card that's really special to you or something you want, and not everyone buys cards based on value. But I think to a little bit, Troy, that even people that say that care about values too. So, and a lot of people do care about values. So I think that it makes it a worthwhile discussion. So all that being said, I'm going to get off my soapbox and the disclaimer. Let's talk about some factors that we think make 101 special. We're going to start super obvious, of course, but we have a big spectrum of people that listen and watch our show, from very advanced collectors to people that are just starting out. And the biggest factor in the value of a 101 is going to be who the player is.
Yep.
Nothing will impact the value more. I kind of assume it's common sense for everyone. A Connor McDavid 101 rookie will have 10 or more times the value of a Max Domi rookie of the same card.
Yep.
101. Both rookies the same year. Max is a fine player, but there's no questioning who's the more valuable player in the hockey hobby. That doesn't mean, though, that there isn't also volatility with a player, especially the young prospects that we've talked about a lot recently, where a lot of their value is based on the potential stardom that's kind of baked in to the value of the card. So as their career progresses, their overall stock is going to go up or down, and that's going to affect your cards, whether it's a base Young Guns where there's a lot, or it's a 101 card that you have the only one. And so the player, who that player is and where they're at in their career and where they're seen in the hobby is going to be probably the biggest effect on any 101's value. Then you have, kind of staying along the player theme, we have, is this player a rookie or rookie year card? Is it a vet or a non-rookie, or is it a legend? So along with who the player is, it's going to matter a lot too, where they kind of fit in this category. Rookies are always going to have the highest appeal. It's going to be, rookies are more valuable than veteran or legends cards. We that's one of the bedrocks, I guess, of the hobby. Then you have this, I don't know, between vets and legends, call it a horse apiece. I don't really know. To me, I think a card is always more valuable when it's during a player's career. We've talked a lot about these 90s inserts lately, and we've seen some Gretzky records being sold. And I've mentioned that one of the things that really appeals to me about those is he was still playing in his turtleneck with the Rangers, but he's still playing nonetheless. And that makes it, for me, a little kind of extra element of cool there. What's interesting, though, about the legend thing as it comes to 101s is that you look at like a lot of these guys right now, whether it be like Gordie Howe or Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux, there weren't any, or many 101s during their playing career. So most of their 101s are now, as they're in this sort of legendary status, coming out in current sets. It'll be interesting to see what happens, Troy, when we get 10, 15 years down the road and you compare a 8th year McDavid 101 to 2 years after he's retired.
No.
Do you have any idea, like where you would lean there, or where you? I would think the playing year ones will always have more value.
Well, yeah, I would think the plain ones will always have more value. And I can tell you what, the way we're going, they ain't going to stop producing 101s of players when they retire, especially the legends. They're going to keep coming out. I think, I don't know, maybe get this later. There's probably a reckoning coming at some point for some of this stuff with how many 101s. Hockey's not as bad as other sports. I think you look at what Panini was doing in football, and there was like 50 101s for a player in a set. It was just crazy, but it is interesting how 101s are going.
Well, it diminishes the value.
Yeah.
You keep going to the well. We've talked about like that with like PMGs, and the more you, in a weird way, give people what you want.
Yeah, what they want and demand.
It hurts the hobby a little bit. Well, the next factor that I wanted to, I guess, review a little bit is condition, which I think is a little bit of a unique factor to 101s, because being a gem mint for a 101 is not a requirement to having tremendous value.
Yep.
Right. It's the only one of that card. So there's no better option. I think it just has to be presentable. And okay, so if you have a 101 that's been chewed up by your dog or run over by a dump truck, you're going to have an issue there, of course. But a lot of times we see these 101s that are graded and they'll have 7.5 or 8.5 or 8 grades, 6.5, I guess, maybe sometimes. And it doesn't really affect the value that much. And I think we might have talked about this a little bit in the last couple of shows. To me, the biggest reason to get a 101 graded is more for the authentication reason. So that, because a lot of these can be really big cards and have an autograph, and you just want to make sure that the card is legitimate.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of covers the player side and the condition side a little bit. Now, some of the factors that we're going to get into are things that have taken me the last year and a half really to learn. And the first one I want to cover, Troy, is the set a card comes from.
Yeah.
So I'll use like probably the biggest spectrum of examples here. So 101 from the cup is going to carry a lot more prestige than from O-Pee-Chee paper. As much as I love my O-Pee-Chee paper, it's just the truth.
I was going to say, is there an MVP 101? I can't remember. Does
I don't think
have
so.
a 101? I don't think so either.
So again, the brand of the set matters, as cards are seen more important if they are from a key set. And the hobby will hold that in more esteem, right? So it's easy to delineate between the cup and O-Pee-Chee, but it gets harder when you get into that middle ground of sets. If you put like all whatever 25 or so sets Upper Deck has into that pecking order, then it can get a little more difficult to figure out. And then I think the other thing you have to remember with sets is things change and times change. O-Pee-Chee Platinum was not as highly regarded 5-6 years ago as it is today, where maybe a brand like SP Game Used was held in a little bit higher esteem than it is today, before than it is today as well. So you have to factor the set and how the hobby views that set when it comes from. And then maybe a cousin to this would be the brand of the card itself. And it could even be more important than the set. I don't know. But certain cards have basically built their own brand and standing in the hockey hobby. Everyone's really excited about the new Young Guns configuration to have this Young Guns 101 because of the importance of that Young Guns brand of card. Golden Treasures, Troy, is another good example of this. And it's an interesting example because it's a brand that actually exceeds the set brand itself, because you'll find a Golden Treasures in both O-Pee-Chee Platinum and in Allure.
Yep.
Right. Where then you have to factor this, go back to that set brand, where today Allure is still pretty new, does not have the same esteem in the hobby that O-Pee-Chee Platinum does. So most people would consider a Golden Treasures from O-Pee-Chee Platinum to be much more valuable than Allure. And I think if you looked at secondary market sales, you would see that that is definitely the case. Another type of card brand that can impact the value of a 101 would be like an insert or parallel name too. So a PMG, like we're seeing on the screen, is a great example of that, right? A PMG 101 is going to carry a lot more value than other 101s, that particularly ones that don't have autos or memorabilia, because of how highly desired PMGs are in general. Mm-hmm. Right. So you have to kind of factor the brand of and there's inserts that have 101s as well. Then the next thing I would look at as factors, Troy, would be what I'm calling like card and set lineage. And I look at this in two ways. So first, how long has a set been around and what's its history in the hobby? So if I'm looking at a 101 from like SP Authentic, to me, it's going to carry a lot more weight than an Allure 101, even though Allure has Golden Treasures, because SP Authentic dates back to the 90s, where Allure just debuted in 2019 and is through its 2021 release. So really only has 3 releases in its history. And then the last one too, I think is a result of just my experience in the last year, and what I've learned is that you have to factor how many 1-of-1s does the player you're looking at have of that same card over a span of years.
Yep.
So I'll go back to the PMG example here. Any gold, like 101 PMG, is going to be valuable for a guy like McDavid or Crosby or Ovechkin. But I think over the long run, and as we know, Upper Deck is going to continue to produce PMGs, there's going to be a premium that's placed on their first gold PMG 1-of-1 versus their 10th.
Yeah.
Probably a big premium, I would guess. Sounds like you agree.
Yeah, I agree. And this is where I get back into maybe the watering down. I think if that happens, then people look at, well, which one's the first?
Yes.
So I agree with you 100%.
Then the next is kind of a big category of factors. It's really the card attributes and design. So is the card autographed? 1-of-1s with autos are going to carry a premium because they're going to have that extra special dimension to them of the autograph. But then you have to figure in, what type of auto is it? Is it a sticker auto or is it a on-card auto? And I would assume, Troy, that you would value a 1-of-1 with an on-card auto much more than you would with a sticker auto.
Yes. Personally, I would. I don't know if the hobby does, but personally, I would.
I think the hobby would too.
Yeah. And I don't know, like even, I was going to go somewhere, but I'm not.
Okay. Along with the auto, then you have cards that also have memorabilia, like jersey patches, which notch up that specialness of the 101 even more. But here again, though, the type of memorabilia will impact the desirability and value.
Yep.
Right. So you have manufactured patches that are patches or banners or team logos. To me, not very desirable at all. No. It's my personal opinion, but some people might like them. I am not a fan. So part of me thinks that card, and we're seeing like with Black Diamond, a lot of manufactured patches in the set. I'm not sure there's a 101. I haven't looked into that, but that shouldn't happen. Like I would be kind of mad, to be honest, if I saw a 101 that had a manufactured patch. I would much rather have a sticker auto than that. You feel the same way about manufactured patches?
Yeah, you and me are kind of on the same boat with manufactured patches. Not a fan of them. Don't like them. But again, that's just personal, subjective. But yeah, if I had a 101 card, I don't personally want a manufactured patch on it. I want either a real patch or a swatch of the jersey, just nothing manufactured.
Then there's sort of the next 3, and these are all common between cards and sort of delineate the value of cards anyways, but they do apply to 101. So you have player worn, event worn, and game used. And of course, game used would be the most preferred by people in the hobby. And then you have to look at the quality of the memorabilia, like if we're going back, if it's manufactured, I guess, is it interesting looking at least? I have a manufactured patch of like a banner of I can't remember, it might be from Game Used. It's a Sebastian Aho card.
Yeah.
And it's a solid black like thing. And part of me thinks, well, if you're gonna make a manufactured patch,
at least put some color into it.
Yeah, like put something into it to at least make it look interesting. Then if it's a part of a jersey, is it a jersey swatch or like a napkin patch or at least a color? Most desired would be a patch. And then you look at how many colors, how many breaks or seams, what part of the patch is it? Like you have a Pecorine booklet that has the eye of the saber-toothed tiger, which is going to be very desirable in the case of a Nashville Predators card, how big the patch is. So all these things are going to kind of factor into the appeal of the card and how much desirability it's going to have too. And then beyond patches, of course, there's other memorabilia. There's sticks, gloves, nameplates, a whole bunch of stuff that they put into cards that are all going to impact the value that any 101 will have. And then the last kind of factor that I had is just the card design itself. And this is the most subjective, of course, but is the design clean? Does it look good? Which is going to be change, I guess, based on anyone's own personal judgment. But I think, though, that there are cards that are generally seen in the hobby as attractive by the hobby at large, or you can always ask people their opinion. And so it's kind of a long list of stuff, Troy, but that was sort of my factors as to, okay, before we get into some examples, because I wanted to have this baseline where we can judge the examples that I came up with based on those factors and see if we would be a buy, sell, or hold. Anything you think I forgot?
No, I think you're dead on. I was thinking about the subjectivity of the card design. It's probably the most subjective, right? Because it's if you like it, but it's probably the most important because there's some 101s I look at and I'm like, I don't even like that card. The design, I wouldn't even look at it. So I think it's interesting how the card design and how it has the most probably subjectivity, and it might be the most important factor for a lot of people.
Well, you know what probably the best example is, and there's really no way to debate because there's no right or wrong answer. It's the vertical versus horizontal card.
True. Very true.
Some people, I think it's generally assumed that, or the general perception is that vertical cards have more broad appeal, but it's harder to get memorabilia into some like horizontal ones. And so, that's one where we've heard depend on the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. We've heard opinions from some pretty prominent people that they'd rather just have every card vertical, stop making horizontal ones.
Yeah. I don't mind horizontal cards. Do you?
I obviously don't like them as much as a vertical card. I can live with them. And I understand probably to get patches into some cards with the design, it's probably easier.
Is it your biggest thing though, like when they're graded, that the label is?
Yeah, that just annoys me when the label but I'm not the biggest grader guy. I don't even have that many graded cards, but I do get annoyed by a vertical card having the grading stuff on the labels looks weird. Yeah. So I need some grading company to figure out how to make it attractive to have a horizontal slab with the gradings, with the label on top of the horizontal part.
With all this said, Troy, are we ready to now go through our examples and we'll each
let's go through it. We can get lots of hate for these.
So the first one is one we actually just featured in our Instagram post of a first public sale. It's from the new Stature release, and it's a Trevor Zegras 101 Black Parallel. It's a rookie excellence insert. There's no auto or memorabilia on the card. It is a nice looking card.
Yeah.
But is this the type of, so you pull this out of a box of Stature.
Yeah.
You're a Zegras collector. Is this one you're buying? Are you holding, or are you selling it?
Well, if I'm a Zegras collector, I'm holding it. If I personally, Troy would sell it immediately, because even though I love Stature, I'm not a Zegras guy at all. And I love Stature's design, but this design doesn't really do a lot for me. So I'm probably selling this and trying to get as much as I can for it right away and using it to buy lots of Pecorine cards.
So here's, I think, where this gets interesting, right? Because it is a 101, but there's a lot of them. Yeah. So that's sort of the thing that we're kind of here. And they got like $1,200 for this card. So if you could take this 101, because rookie excellence, or $1,300, something like that. It's not like a very prominent card. of course. He's going to have many 101s because we know we're pumping him out. Would you rather sell this if you're a Zegras guy and get maybe it's not out yet, but like a Future Watch Auto patch or something, which is going to be out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the question you have to ask yourself is what's going to have more long-term value? Right? Is it a very nice Future Watch Auto patch or a card like this? A card like this I might sell because I feel like I might be able to convert it, or maybe you could get a Emerald Surge O-Pee-Chee Platinum or something like that for it, or something that maybe out of 5 or out of 10 that's still very scarce, but would have a little bit more appeal. So okay, the next one is another Zegras example. Just kind of keeping on this train. We'll see if I put this or wanted to use this to see if this would change our opinion going from card to card. So somewhat similar. It's from SPX, which has a little bit probably more brand equity than Stature does at this point. It's an acetate card. It's the Radiance FX rookie. I think it's a pretty good looking card just in of itself. But again, it's a 101. So in this case, do you feel any different than you did with the Stature because of the brand and maybe the card design?
So I'm a lot more, even though I'd sell the other one, I would not even question myself. I'm selling this one. There's a couple things, and this is, you talk about that subjective piece, the design. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the 101. I don't like the one is over his jersey. Just, this might be petty things. I can't stand the picture of him. I don't like the picture of him. And the card just doesn't do it for me. Even the design with the name and the logo just seems kind of odd. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. Actually, is this bottom part? That's part of the card, right? Or is that a stand?
No, it's part of the card.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the design doesn't do it for me. So I'm selling.
So the design of the card plays a big factor with you.
Yep.
I'm probably selling this one as well, again, for the same reason as the other one, even though I actually prefer this one. Again, this is where subjectivity comes into it a little bit more than the other one. Okay, we'll get off of the Zegras train here, and let's go to our guy. A couple examples for Kaprizov. So I know PMGs aren't 100% your thing, but I'm going to ask you this from the perspective of an investor now.
Yeah.
Right? If you believe in Kaprizov as an investment over the long, which is a big question, and a lot of people don't. So, but let's just assume that's true. This is his gold 101 PMG, the 97-98 retro from his rookie year, right? So it's a rookie card of Kaprizov.
Yep.
Are you a buy, sell, or hold on this one?
I'm a hold. Again, I'm not the biggest PMG guy, but I will tell you, I love gold cards, and I think this one looks really nice. Plus, it's from his rookie year. Plus, this thing sounds really dumb, but I never noticed. I actually love how there's green in the Metal Universe logo down here. And I went to check another one. I think you have another one coming up. It might have been Matthews or something coming up. And they have blue down. I didn't notice that. And I think that's just a little touch. It's not big. It's not really prominent. But yes, I would hold this card. I think it looks really nice. It's a rookie year card. If you're a Kaprizov believer, I'm holding this. It's the first one. Now it's the retro. Is this the no?
It's the retro. Yeah.
Is this the retro? Okay. So
it's going to be the more desired after. And I think this is the first example. Not that the Zegras weren't cool, but the hobby knows this is a special card.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever Kaprizov becomes, you're not going to find probably much more the card that doesn't have an auto or memorabilia that's more desirable than this one. And that's where that heritage of the brand, heritage of the card plays a big factor too. Yeah, I'm going to hold this one if I believe in Kaprizov over the long run. And I'm sure cards like this are a bumpy road. I think this sold for like 25 grand. It probably wouldn't get close to that.
No way.
Right now, I don't think, but I would be a hold on this one.
Yeah.
So the next one then.
This next one's crazy.
Is tougher too. So here now we just went from a gold PMG with Kaprizov to another rookie card. Is SP Authentic, the Future Watch Auto Patch 101. So it's a black card with gold ink auto, which we know it's got a ridiculous patch. Yeah. Well, the patch window and flops are a little small, but that's my one complaint. It's a 101 card. So same question from an investment perspective. Now, if they're the same amount of money, the gold PMG and this Future Watch Auto Patch 101, what do you believe in more as a long-term investment?
Jeez, probably, I don't know, probably the PMG. I think there's
just because the brand cachet.
Just the brand cachet, and people love them so much. Personally, I want this card. And if I had this card, I know you asked from an investment standpoint. If I'm from an investment standpoint, I'm probably holding. If I'm a Kaprizov believer, this was Troy. I'm a Wild fan. I'm a Kaprizov fan. I actually would. I know this is going to sound blasphemy. I'd almost crack this because I hate how it's in that case. And I would
just. It doesn't even have a grade. If you're going to, why not? I mean, as long as you wouldn't, you would be terrified that you would.
Well, the auto's graded, right? The auto's a 10.
Auto's a 10.
But like, for my display, I want this out of this case or out of the grading slab. Because personally, I would never sell it. This is my card. I'm putting it in my display case. Oh, I would love to have this card. But
as a Minnesota Wild fan, that's a ridiculous card. You can make the case this is one of the best Minnesota Wild cards ever.
Yeah.
Like the top of the top.
Yeah.
But not that that's saying much. Okay, we geeked out on Kaprizov enough. So let's move to another guy. Let's go to Auston Matthews. So just like with Kaprizov, it's a 2020 PMG Gold, 97, 98 Retro, 101. This one's graded to BGS 8. But what's different than Kaprizov is not only is it not a rookie year Auston Matthews, it's not even his first PMG. But it is his first 101 PMG. So he does have a rookie year PMG, which came out of Fleer Showcase in 2016, but there were not 101s at that time. The lowest serial numbered one was a purple parallel out of 5. So this is where I kind of love, I don't know why I geek out on this stuff so much, but when you compare the Kaprizov to this, there's a little more variables here or dimensions to this. So if you're an Auston Matthews collector or investor, what are you doing with this card? Are you buy, sell, or hold?
If I'm a Matthews collector, he's got his huge new contract. He's going to go off. I'm a Toronto fan. I'm probably holding. But again, I just want to point out the blue down here.
Yeah, that is cool.
I think it's really cool.
And are you saying that because it's his first gold PMG?
Yeah, because his first gold PMG 101. Now, if I got this, Troy personally somehow ended up with this, I'd probably try to look at selling it. But again, I'm a Toronto fan. Remember, they're my Canadian team. So, but I would personally, if I'm a believer, I'm holding this thing because it's his first one. I think it's a great looking card. But if I'm not an Auston Matthews guy, I'm selling. I'm getting my money because I'm worried his injury is going to be more long term and he's going to have another off season. I hope not, but that'd be something that I'd be worried about.
Well, let me throw this surprise one in there for you then. Okay, so this is the 2020 Retro 97, 98 Retro Gold PMG. What if it's a 2021? So it's the second, and it's a base gold PMG. Are you? I think I'm selling that one. I'm keeping this one, and I'm selling that one to use that money to get a really good rookie card.
Yeah, probably
at that point. Okay, so we have another Matthews example. It's a 2016-17 UD Black color-coded signatures black 101. Really cool looking card. It's a black card. It's got like a blue, almost like a neon blue autograph. And this is a tough one because it doesn't have the big name cachet of PMG.
Yeah.
It does have UD Black, which I think is pretty well known. But from an investment standpoint, are you selling this and putting the money into a bigger Matthews card?
I'm selling this because even UD Black, that's not even its own set anymore, right? They merged it into they do still release.
I think it's a black diamond, isn't it?
Yeah, they do release the UD Black brand in another set. But yeah, I'm probably selling this. Plus, unlike you, this card, the only thing I think looks cool is the autograph. Everything else, it's kind of bland to me. Or it doesn't speak to me.
I'm probably selling this one too. Okay, last example, we're going to use a legend and no better one than Wayne Gretzky here. So this little card, Troy, is a 2004 Ultimate Collection Wayne Gretzky NHL Shield Patch Auto 101, BGS 8.5.
No.
Sort of a Captain Obvious one. Are you a buy, sell, or hold here, Troy?
I'm selling and paying off my mortgage. That's what I'm doing with this one.
145,000 was the last sale.
Oh, is that it was? Okay, so I'll tell you one thing about this card. I actually would love it if there was like a string hanging off the logo. I know I'm weird.
Oh, that would drive me crazy.
No, I would love it because I love the old NHL logo, because you see the NHL's going down. It's got the different color. The new one goes up because I think they wanted to be like, we're climbing. It's so dumb how you marketing people, but no, I would probably sell this just for the value. I mean, that's
you literally hold that though. I mean, you wouldn't. So you're not financially comfortable enough where you don't think this would be a $500,000 card 20 years from now, or you're taking the quick win.
I'm taking the quick win and I'm selling.
Okay, I'd probably hold that one. So I wanted to use this example mainly to play off of the next one, which is a 2020 clear cut auto. So it doesn't have the shield patch. I get that, but it's a 101. So again, it's from clear cut. Big difference in sales here. So this sold for like just over 5,000, not 145,000. And again, you have to look at all the factors we talked about. So you pull this card. Are you keeping this one? Or are you selling it? Or
I probably keep this one because of the picture. Look at that. He looks like he's half asleep. But I think this picture is pretty classic. I love the orange. Now, from the investment standpoint, if it's $5,000, I probably am keeping it just to see where hopefully it can go up a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to get probably in that $150,000 range. But I actually don't mind this card. This would definitely put in my display case. It'd be a Gretzky auto, so that's cool.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a really specific question, like an A or B with this one.
Okay.
Because this is what I thought of when I saw this card. You got a 101 clear cut Gretzky auto, which is awesome, of course. $5,000. What if you sold that card and bought a all-time Future Watch auto? What is that, a 49 that goes for about $4,000? In 15 years, what's worth more? This 101 or an all-time Future Watch auto?
I'm gonna say the all-time Future Watch. I think those are gonna,
I think that's what I would sell this and do that.
Yeah.
Now it could be wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, probably am. Usually am. Right. But I don't, that's just kind of the way that this whole exercise has got me to think about these 101s. So I don't know, was this kind of interesting to you to go through?
I love this. I love talking about this stuff because how many times, I mean, you don't hear a lot of people talk about 101s and just everything that goes on with them and thoughts around them and selling to get better cards or get different cards. So,
well, I think your point earlier was spot on too about, is there going to be a tipping point where you see 101 and it's like, well, I see 101s every day. So
yeah,
meh on the whole thing. It's just like when we do all the auction coverage and you see a Alex Ovechkin Young Guns PSA 10, part of you gets conditioned because they're like in every auction.
Yeah.
Big auction where it's a ridiculously valuable and special card, but you just get so accustomed to it. And personally, I would like to Upper Deck to show restraint and keep 101s really special and make sure that they're very special cards and not just have every, because the fear is for every insert or parallel that there's going to be a 101 option going forward.
Yeah.
I just don't like that.
Yeah.
You have any closing thoughts on this?
No, I just wish I pulled more 101s. The one I got was the Roman Yossi. I remember that. I think it sold for
your team at least, or Predators with their
at least it was like 100. I think I sold it for it was like 200 some bucks. I think I ended up selling it for.
All right, need to make a quick mention for our Gongshow partner and sponsor, Slab Sharks. We appreciate their support immensely for our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live. These auctions are just getting better and better each week for hockey. So be sure to head to slabsharks.com for a link to the auction. Peruse, I like that word, peruse, all the cool cards, and maybe place some bids. Troy is a big Slab Sharks auction guy. I spent some time doing that myself this weekend, Troy, and found a few of the cards that I think are really cool that stood out to me. We'll see if you agree. I think I have 5 here. So speaking of SPX, here's a 2015 Connor McDavid rookie jersey auto out of $399. I like this card because it's a, more entry level kind of cool McDavid rookie where it's not going to cost you a Ferrari to buy it. So. This next one is a 2007 SP Authentic Patrick Kane Future Watch auto out of $999. I really like the design of the Future Watch autos this year.
Yeah, fantastic auto too. Love the auto.
Yes, great auto.
Little raise of the pen right there, but on the loopy. But I love this auto. Looks so nice.
I love when you use technical terms like loopy.
Loopy? I've learned from this hobby, you can just make up terms and people will be like, all right, yeah.
Have our show, Troy. Let's have our show. How about this next one? 2016 Premier Auston Matthews RPA out of 199.
Love it. Look at, I can see strings. I love it.
Or that was your strings.
Yep, there it is.
These cards always bum me out. We talked about this yesterday in person about the Maple Leafs jerseys. That I think it is kind of cool that they're two colors. When it comes to patches, though, a little bit of a buzzkill there. All right, Troy. A 2017 Platinum, O-Pee-Chee Platinum, Connor McDavid, Seismic Gold out of 50 raw. But these are becoming bigger and bigger cards.
I know.
All the time. Really curious to see what this one goes for.
Yeah, I am, because it's, how do you tell? Someone tell me how to tell this is centered left to right. Up and down, I can tell it looks pretty good, I think. But because obviously that border, there's no way it can be this. It's just, this card's crazy.
You really have to go with any O-Pee-Chee Platinum rookie cards, especially. This is not, but because there was a card that I was really interested in that looked off center. And so I actually went up and looked up a bunch of PSA 10s and thought, oh, this is, I guess, how it's supposed to be, or what PSA considers 10. And so it gave me confidence in that regard.
Yeah, definitely.
The last card, though, that stood out to me is a 2019 Upper Deck Young Guns Cale Makar UD Canvas. I just like the look of this card.
Yeah, this card actually looked really great picture, too. Nice color. You can tell and it ties into a mailbag question. So awesome. Good job.
Lots of mailbag tie-ins today. We're doing good in that regard. If you're a Canadian hockey card collector, and we know you're out there because about 45% of our audience is Canadian, Troy and I would recommend checking out Slab Shark's eBay consignment services. Troy wanted to demand you do it, but I thought that was too mean. So we're just going to recommend you check out their eBay consignment services. They make it easy to sell your cards, which is nice because, frankly, there's a lot of hassle in selling cards.
Yep.
They take nice photos, list them, answer buyer questions, hunt down payment, ship them out, yes, even to the U.S., and then handle any post-sale issue with the buyer. How can you beat that? I surely do not like doing any of those things, Troy. Plus, your cards get listed in their very popular weekly eBay auctions. They're exposing them to a large buying pool. So for complete information on Slab Shark's consignment services, including payout rates, and to get started, check out slabsharks.com. Happy news.
Hobby news.
Feels like barely a show goes by, Troy, without some major hobby drama.
Uh-oh, it's back.
Hobby drama.
Personal pickups and hobby drama. That's all we talk about.
Yeah. 3 straight shows. Well, I guess you can't say the hockey hobby is boring or the sports card hobby is boring. And this story at least does involve the hockey hobby directly.
Yes.
Where we've been sort of, I don't know, watching the train wreck that is the whole Panini and Fanatics thing from afar. Well, Troy, in another shocking hobby development, Leaf Trading Cards CEO Brian Gray is out.
Yep.
According to Leaf, Gray made the decision to step down effective immediately. Gray himself issued a statement saying, for the last year, the Leaf team and I have been looking for the right time and for the right person who could step into the CEO role at Leaf and allow me to pass the baton after over 30 years of building the hobby business, including my most recent success, Leaf Trading Cards. This has been a long race. For the first time within the past year, I'm tired. I need to create margin in my life to focus on health, family, and all the things I love about life that were relegated to the back burner over these past 3 decades. All right, Troy, if you are an amateur conspiracy theorist here, there's a couple of things within this whole of how this all played out that were maybe untypical.
Yeah.
And got me thinking a little bit. First off, out of the blue CEO resignations are not the way that probably any good corporate strategy dictates, right? Because it communicates instability.
Yeah.
Really, like that you're not like, so I think ideally, if you're a company and you want to plan a transition like this, you're going to announce it 6 months to a year in advance, just to give and it's like a public company, this would never happen this way. The stock would like tank.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if Leaf I doubt they're public, but yeah, so it's a little fishy that it just came literally out of the blue and seemed to surprise everyone. Also, the other thing, and I don't know if you picked up on this, but saying that they've identified a successor but not naming them is very weird too. Why would you not name?
I always think that means you don't trust them yet. You want to put them in the role for 3 months and see how they do.
Yeah, from like a continuity of leadership point of view, it's weird to not do that.
Or maybe they're at another company right now and they need to do all the crazy backroom stuff.
But then the timing of the announcement is you don't wait. You wait till they give their 1 month or 2 week notice. Fair enough. And I want to say too that to a certain extent, any speculation is sort of unfair.
Yeah.
To Brian and to Leaf, and so I don't want to go off the rails and sort of or down the rabbit hole and conspiracy talk here, but let's just say that like something happened, right, where the board or investors decide that okay, you need to be gone today, and they also wanted to respect your tenure and what you've done for the company, and so and happens all the time. So they say, well, you're out today. Either we fire you or we let you bow out yourself and control the narrative.
Yeah.
It's hard not to feel like that is a possibility here that could have happened.
Could have happened. Again, we don't know how much Leaf. We talked about this yesterday, kind of. We don't know how much Brian Leaf actually owns, controls. I have no clue. I don't even know if they're public, they're private, whatever. But yeah, there's some things that are kind of interesting, but we're just gonna have to like kind of let it go. And I brought up the point too that it's interesting this is happening with all the Panini stuff going around because there's definitely room for someone to come in and try to take Panini's spot in the hobby. And maybe that's kind of the play here too with Leaf going for new leadership and stuff.
Buried in the news. They released it on a Friday. So I mean that part was strategic because that's when you always want to do it, when Friday at 5 o'clock when everyone's left the office and thinking about the weekend. But again, there's just so many things about this that feel unorthodox to me. So it does make you wonder. And that brings you to, I guess, the $64,000 question. Who's in? Who will be take the reins at Leaf? Troy, that's your cue.
Sorry to look up. There's an auction going on right now that I'm watching, and it ends in like 2 minutes. So I want to make sure I didn't miss it. But no, we have this.
Could it be Troy? Could Troy? I don't know. I would think you would be a top choice. Troy. Have they contacted you yet? Are you considering leaving the Gong Show for Leaf? What's going to happen?
Not yet. I'm not in. They didn't contact me. I would politely decline, probably.
Okay, so all jokes aside, Troy, if you were named the new CEO at Leaf Trading Cards, what would you do? Like, what are a couple maybe like big picture things that you might do to improve the business?
Oh man, what would I do? So on the hockey side, I know they can't do this, so they can't get the licensing. I actually don't mind some of their hockey products. I think they need to tighten up the narrative around some of their stuff being fake. There's a story that comes out, it seems like every 6 months to a year, where it's either fake auto, how did you get this material or this memorabilia? So I think they need to clean up that aspect of it. Also, I would try to figure out how I can displace Panini. Panini is like just a wounded duck right now. And how can I take over their spot in the hobby? That's what I'd be looking to do. I don't know what you can do with the licenses now that everything seems pretty tightened down. So you got to figure out, maybe you can go after more entertainment. Like they do the Pop Century. I think that's actually a good thing for them to do. You have to go that route. And
that's not license dependent.
Yeah, true. Like the whole I think we talked to Billy about that. The whole entertainment realm of licensing is, you think sports are crazy, go try to figure the entertainment industry out.
Well, the autographs are, because there's not like an NHLPA. You have to do
they're sad. I mean, there's the Screen Actors Guild, and I
don't think they do like licensing agreements for autos like that. I might be wrong, but yeah, it seems like that you have to do like 1 million individual agreements, and celebrities can be a little finicky, I think, too. But I would probably focus there because it seems like that Pop Century is the best thing that they have going on. It's the most exciting release I think that they have from a hockey perspective. And I kind of mentioned this to you the other day, that I would focus in 2 areas in hockey. I would try to produce the cards that really minimize the benefit of licensing. So you see a lot of these like 4-player auto cards that just have like a tiny headshot. And then the auto of the player, and for the licensing, even on an Upper Deck card, doesn't really matter anyways. And so I think we see those as collectors and don't think, oh, this is like a weird white blank jersey and the card looks funny. It just looks normal to us.
Yeah,
I would do that, and then maybe focus on cards too that have like large memorabilia pieces. One of the questions I have that I don't know, maybe you do, is, so if you have an unlicensed card, can you not put like a jersey patch in it that has.
We've talked about that. We've actually seen kind of patches in Leaf products of hockey that looked like a logo. So I don't know what the rules are around that. I would guess personally no, but it seems like maybe they've figured a way around it. And
if you can't do that, just do like gloves or something other kind of cool that is interesting, big memorabilia pieces.
Yeah, and I think they do some of that with like that lumber product. Or they do some things like that. But as you're talking, something popped in my head. What about going the kind of NIL route or college route?
Or retired players associations.
Yeah, like the NHLPA, they obviously do deals with Upper Deck, but I think they're probably not exclusive. So maybe you go that route. But I think
the retired players are not in the NHLPA. There's a different association.
Or sorry, I meant NHL Alumni Association. Yeah. It's on the back of, here's how much I love SP Legends Signature Edition. I've read the back of it. The little logo on there. But I actually think that going the college route and the NIL might be very interesting play, because I think that's kind of the Wild West right now. No one really knows what's going on with those deals and everything.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. You get new leadership and they're going to take the company in a new direction. And hopefully, I think the more competition in the space, the better. So if they can have a viable hockey product will only push Upper Deck to be better. So again, we'll see what happens at Leaf. Next story, Troy. Just after we recorded our last show, Auston Matthews' contract extension was announced, and it looks like he'll be staying in Toronto for the foreseeable future. If you're watching on YouTube, do you like the image I made here, Troy? You're on mute, buddy.
So this is like a live picture, right? You took this as he was signing his picture. He's got all this money as he stares deeply into your soul with all this money falling around him.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So he signed a 4-year extension that's going to pay him $13.25 million per year. Currently, Nathan MacKinnon has the highest average annual value at $12.6 million. Okay. So we'll have to see if Auston Matthews is going to be the new top dog. I think this deal kicks in after next season.
Correct.
So he would have been a free agent after this upcoming season. So speaking of like all these like average annual values, I came up with a quick game. You want to play it?
Let's do it.
It's called Sounds About Right, Steal, or Yikes. Those are your 3 options.
All right.
So I'm going to give you the top 10 players with the current, so next season, that have the highest average annual values.
Okay.
And you're going to let us know if each player sounds about right, is a steal, or you're just going to go with yikes. Now, as context in all this, remember that for 2023, the salary cap, Troy, is $83.5 million. Okay. So if a player has a $10 million average annual value, that represents about 12% of the total cap number for their team.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're going to start at number 10. We'll count down to number 1. So number 10 is a tie. Both Jonathan Huberdeau and Carey Price both have an average annual value of $10.5 million.
Well, they're both yikes for me. Okay. Based on Huberdeau's performance, and Price has been kind of injured the last couple of years.
2 yikes out of the gate.
Yeah.
Number 9, with the Leafs, Mitch Marner, $10.903 million average annual value.
I don't know. I'll call it a yikes.
Where would you be happier? 9, something like that?
Probably 8.
Oh, wow. Not a shots fired. Every Mitch Marner fan, please direct your hate mail to Troy Iverson at Hockey Cards Gongshow. Okay. Hey, you got to be honest. That's part of this. So number 7, actually, so 7 is a tie. So 7 and 8 are both the same amount. We have another Leaf, John Tavares and Drew Doughty, both make $11 million per year. So for each, does it sound about right? Is it a steal or yikes?
Well, can I let my personal bias get into this? Because I can't stand Drew Doughty because he was picking on Kaprizov, so I don't like him. Yeah. But that seems like a lot for Doughty. He seems, for how old he is, but he's a pretty good player. Tavares, obviously, yikes, because he's not even playing next year. Oh no, that's Taves. I'm thinking of Taves. Sorry.
Yeah, Tavares. Oh. You caught me off guard. I was like,
no. Yeah, Tavares. I guess I'll say sounds about right. I don't know. I'm bad.
I think he's worth $11 million. I think that's.
I don't know. I don't know stats off the top of my head, so I can't. I didn't follow Toronto that far because I was their new fan late in the season. I'm looking it up right now, so I'm gonna do the media thing.
All right, we'll get back to that.
So, 80 points. No, that's a yikes. I'll call him a yikes.
Number 6 is Pasta. So David Pastrnak has an average annual value of $11.25 million. Sounds about right. Steal or yikes?
I gotta see I gotta see his performance.
Oh, he had an amazing season last year. One of the top point producers.
Yeah, 113. I'll call it about right.
Yeah, me too. Number 5, Troy, is Erik Karlsson. Average annual value of $11.5 million. First defenseman to score 100 points in 30 years, but to have defense, the word in any way that describes him, is also blasphemy too.
I'm gonna say about right. I think even though his defense is such a liability, if you talk to all the analytics guys, I feel like every team would want him. So it's like, I think he's about right.
Then we get to the guy that started this whole thing. Auston Matthews is going to be number 4 next year in average annual value. I don't know why it's down to the dollar here, but $11,640,250. Does that sound about right?
I mean, yeah, sure. Sounds about right. You had to pay him more. They had to keep him. It was only a 4-year deal, but they had to keep him. Sounds about right.
Number 3 is Breadman, Artemi Panarin. Average annual value, $11,642,857.
I want to say yikes just a little bit because he doesn't score that much. Like, he only had, 20 some goals, 26?
Yeah, so he would 29. Be about, at 11.5 million, he's got to be 14%, 15% of their cap.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a yikes. Not by a lot, but it's a little bit of yikes.
Then your guy, Connor McDavid, at $12.5 million average annual value.
Steal.
Yeah.
However, he's got to get farther than the playoffs because, as we saw last episode, Phil Kessel is a better player than Connor McDavid.
Not really. So go to the last episode if you save your email. Then number 1, Troy, Nathan McKinnon, who I think makes $1 more than McDavid. Wasn't that the deal? So he'd be like $12.5 million plus $1. Steal sounds about right.
I'm gonna say sounds about right. He's a fantastic player. You got to pay him. So he had a great year. He's about right.
You better notice, Troy, that gives the Leafs 3 guys in the top 10 for average annual value. Yeah,
that's tough.
So between Matthews, Marner, and Tavares, they take their salaries are $33,543,250, which is about half of what Patrick Mahomes makes, but it is 40% of the Leafs' total salary cap. That's gonna be tough there. But what do you do? Pay great players. And then getting back to Matthews, so for the hobby, do you think it's good that he resigned with the Leafs?
I think so, even though I wanted him in the U.S. and Arizona. I thought it would be fun to have him go there. But I do think it's good that he stayed with Toronto. It's funny, like, you did this kind of whole average annual value thing. I saw I guess we'll call it, a tweet, where this guy said, I think he said Matthews, if he was in the NBA with his salary, the new salary, the average annual value, he'd be like 129th highest paid player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that there's players soon, like I think the NBA has a new collective bargaining agreement that comes out in a year or two, that you could have a circumstance where a player like LeBron or a guy like who's the guy in Dallas, like the Luka Doncic
or Doncic. I don't know basketball at all. Sorry,
where they make almost what the NHL salary cap is.
That's crazy. It
is wild.
But
last story in hobby news is there's some big fall expo signing, I guess, announcements. So believe it or not, Troy, the fall Toronto Sports Card Expo is not that far away. We will be there. Cannot wait for that. And I think now that we've been twice, I don't know if you feel this way, but it's almost more exciting because we know what to expect. And I suppose that's a good sign for a show when you've been there and you can't wait to go back. But very, very excited to go this year. The Fall Expo is November 9th through, not 10th, this is 9th through 12th or something like that at the International Center in Mississauga, which is basically right by the airport. Huge part of the expo, of course, are the athletes that they invite as guests to come and sign autos. And some of the names are already being announced. So the big one in the last couple of days was Peter Forsberg.
I have to say it. I absolutely love the picture they used.
It's the worst.
I love it.
I would be so mad if that was my So he joins, just speaking of hockey players, the list of already announced people. So there's Dave Keon. There's actually more money per autograph than Forsberg, which I find interesting.
I'm going to have some comments at the end of this.
All right. Pierre Turgeon, Mike Vernon. Troy, you going to get your Mike Vernon auto? Speaking of photos.
I was never a big Vernon guy.
Caroline Ouellette. How's that how you say your name?
Caroline Ouellette.
Ouellette. Okay. And then Ken Hitchcock, which
this is kind of odd, but hey, good.
I respect him. I just don't know, like,
I respect his pricing. That's what I say.
$29, something like that. Canadian. Yeah. There's also some really big non-hockey names already announced too. So Mike Tyson, you ever heard of him, Troy?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
And then your guy Ric Flair, 115 Canadian for an auto. That's not bad. At the National, that would have been like 200 some bucks.
Yeah, but just wait. I got a comment on him.
All right. And then Reggie Jackson, Mr. November, Troy. I know, just everybody knows it's Mr. September.
Now, please tell me. I put that note in there. Please tell me you were joking.
I am.
Okay.
I am. It's a joke. I know it's
okay. Because I know we're gonna get mail. We're gonna get mail from people.
It's October. Come on. But honestly, nobody would. We've been so bad at butchering stuff that people probably would think we weren't joking. So if you're a hockey collector, and well, it'd be weird if you're not listening or watching our show. I don't know, maybe you're just a big fan of Troy and you watch because of that. But the expo is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So kind of talking to you Americans out there, because I think Canadians already know this, but it's well worth the trip to Canada for the show. Okay, Troy, what are your comments?
My comments. Ric Flair. Yes, 115 auto. However, if you want him to add Nature Boy to that auto, you better add another $115 to that autograph price.
What?
It'd be $230. Okay, that was the first thing I saw. Next one, Reggie Jackson. If you want the VIP package, $499 Canadian. Okay. You get to play catch with him for 4 minutes. And don't you dare go over your 4 minutes. After you play catch, you get that baseball you played catch with him signed. I want to make fun of it, but I bet there's people out there that think that's really cool. And hey, to each their own. If you want to spend that much money and do that, that's cool. And
what if you threw it too hard and like hit him in the face?
Yeah, he had to go jump for it and then he landed on his knee and blew it out. That'd be not good. And then the Peter Forsberg one, you can do the VIP, $549 Canadian, but you get a jersey, which is kind of cool, unsigned, but you can get an Avalanche or a Quebec Nordiques jersey. I thought that's kind of interesting because if you're going to charge $550 for a VIP package, at least have some good stuff.
Well, I think you get the jersey and then you have them signed it.
Well, see, it says that's what I don't understand.
But I think that's one of the items you can get signed because it'd be weird not to do that, right?
That's what I thought. But then I was reading this and it's like you get a front of the line, you get a regular autograph ticket, a premium autograph ticket. Yeah, they got to give you this unsigned jersey, and if you want to use that, fine.
And you got to go with the Nordiques jersey like 10 times out of 10, right? Unless you're an Avalanche guy, I suppose. But
and I think it's pretty cool they got a Canadian women's player. Hope they have more women's players.
Is she like the GOAT?
She's up there. What's Haley Wickenheiser? I think is probably who people consider the greatest Canadian, or probably the greatest women's player.
Gotcha.
But, cool.
We're gonna roll into new product releases. So 2022-23 metal comes out this week. As I mentioned, Billy Cilio is going to be on the show next Monday. So we'll have much more. We'll talk about metal as we get it for our Thursday show. And then we'll talk about Billy. So it's a big release week. It is $130, a little bit less than last year. Last year's metal, I don't think did that well. So it'll be interesting to see if Billy's right and that this is the best of the new metal releases yet. But Troy, you sent this to me and I got very, very excited the other day. And so we're going to try something new. It's a little more on the YouTube side.
Yeah.
We'll do our best audio description as possible. The info just came out for 2022, 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee, which if you've listened or watched for a while, you'll know this is both one of Troy and my favorite sets. And so we thought we'd do a little bit of a design preview, and most of the stuff we try to do for the audience, maybe this is just indulging for ourselves a little bit. So hopefully you find this interesting. There's no photos on the sell sheet on the normal base cards, but where they did start is with one of the new parallels called the Purple Border out of 49. I can already tell that I'm going to like the design this year more than I liked last year. As much as I love O-Pee-Chee, Troy, I was not a fan of the base card design last year, just like which flows into all the parallels too. So my gut, it's kind of got a bunch of like angled lines in it, very liney. No, I'm using technical terms. I don't know. What do you think of the overall just vibe or design for O-Pee-Chee?
I like it. There's one coming up. Not the next one you show, but the second, the next or whatever. 1+1, I think looks awesome.
Gotcha. And then there's going to be rainbow foil parallels again this year. I think that was added last year. These are all numbered. So there's a regular rainbow foil out of 350. Then there's black out of 100, green out of 22, I believe. Or it might be 33. I'll have to check that. And then rainbow foil gold 101. So we're going to have one out of O-Pee-Chee. I'm a big fan of this. I love the treatment of the marquee rookie. The thing, though, that I got to call out is, and I meant to verify this, but I know I'm right because this is both applies to O-Pee-Chee Platinum and O-Pee-Chee. Upper Deck seems to go back and forth every year between marquee rookie and marquee rookie. And it bugs me. Just pick one. I don't care. I have no preference, but just pick one and go with it.
You know,
is what I
was gonna say. I agree with you 100%. And now that I think about this, I'm thinking out loud. Production meeting. When we did our 1-on-1s, we forgot printing plates. I don't think we brought up printing plates for our 1-on-1 segment.
Yeah, at least they're not as cool. 1-on-1s.
Yeah, they're not as cool.
Okay. Now the next one is the base or the base O-Pee-Chee retros. So to me, the retros are a big part of the set every year. And my favorite part, I love the design of this. It's kind of like a swirly, trippy rainbow kind of thing. What we're showing on our screen is like the black bordered parallel, which is out of 100 every year. Here, the only other option is a 1-on-1 printing plate. There usually is a healthy amount of printing plates in O-Pee-Chee. Seems like O-Pee-Chee in the cup tend to have the most printing plates, which is kind of funny doing that comparison.
So on the design here, do you think he's being hugged by a rainbow, or does it look like hockey sticks? To me, they look like a bunch of hockey sticks. I love it. I love this card. I love color. This card speaks to me.
Very vibrant. And yes, good. So another staple is in any O-Pee-Chee release are the printing or the playing cards. So they have like a deck of cards that you can get, all of them. Interestingly enough, though, and I think I made this comment to at least you before, Troy.
Yeah.
I'm always more interested in the back of because it's more like the card deck design. They don't have the picture yet, but and I like 2 years ago a little more so than last year. So the pack odds are dependent on the card number. So any like 2s to 10s has like 1 in 6 pack odds. If it's a jack to king, it's 1 in 34 packs. Aces are 1 in 102 packs. Jokers are 203 packs. But I have an idea here. So I'm going to put on my product manager hat for O-Pee-Chee. I would love Upper Deck to make some like numbered parallels, maybe foil, something crazy that make a little tougher chase, because honestly, as much as I love these playing cards, they don't have a lot of value, which I don't know. Maybe that's not a bad thing either. Maybe you can just get them cheap. But this is one that I think if you had the right parallel and it was scarce enough, that could be a winner.
The only reason I wouldn't do that is if you want these to be played. Do you want these to truly be used as playing cards? Then don't do that. But I do like the idea of adding some scarcity to it, because these look really cool if you line them up in order. Like, it's a really cool design. They look really nice. But I was gonna say, if that's the only thing I'd hesitate. If they truly want these to be used as playing cards, then don't. But if they did, then why don't they just sell the packs of them if you want them to be used as playing cards?
But it is a card is very unique to O-Pee-Chee, though.
Yeah.
And I love like identifying cards to a set like this. So O-Pee-Chee Premier is back, and again, it's a full-size card this year. I think is better than the Tall Boy. The common ones are going to be the base ones are going to be pretty common at 1 in 6 packs. But I'm kind of digging. There's one parallel, and we're showing it on a screen here. It's of our guy Kaprizov. It kind of like has like an Argyle foil board to it, and they're numbered out of 75. So I think that's a good number to number those out of for O-Pee-Chee. I really dig it. You liking the O-Pee-Chee Premier?
Yeah, I dig these. I've actually really liked these the last couple of years. What I would love to talk to their design team, because what I love is there's this guy in the background with the retro Wild jersey on. They has to be on purpose. There's just some things you see that have to be on purpose. I just love that. It's probably a Kaprizov because it's 90, and I'm sure that's a 7 on the side. Just stuff like that really intrigues me. I love it.
I also really like the design for the 3D marquee rookies. It sort of has like a lava lamp kind of background going on, but these are some of the biggest. If there is a big chase in O-Pee-Chee paper, this would be it. Pretty rare, tough chase. One out of every 864 packs. I don't even think I've ever seen one in person, but I
haven't.
This might be my favorite design of them. And I think too that even the pictures don't articulate exactly like how cool these are, but I don't know, maybe this is the year I just don't know if I love any of the rookies from 2022.
Yeah, been years maybe.
Trophy winners are back. That's the next one. Probably my least favorite.
Yep.
The design actually looks largely like it has in the past.
Yep.
They're manufactured patch cards, which again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but not the biggest fan of there. The thing that surprised me though is the crazy odds on some of these. I'm not going to go through, there's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but so the Frank J. Selke trophy one, Troy, 1 in 4,500 packs.
Oh, geez.
The Ted Lindsay, again, 1 in every 4,500 packs. There's a Hall of Fame logo one, 2,250 packs. Those are but even the most common or the best odds is 1 out of 768 packs. And which is funny too, because if I hit like the Frank J. Selke, I'd be like, I would much rather have a 3D rookie, right? And it's like those are like 1 in 800 packs and versus a 1 in 4,500. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, these I'm like you. I'm not a fan of these. They've never done it for me. I have which one did I pull? I'm looking it up right here in my spreadsheet. I have a Michael Pekka Frank J. Selke Award winner. I think that's been on eBay for as long as since I pulled the card for 99 cents and no one wants it. So.
Yikes. And then lastly, they have kind of their standard bounty program. It's a puzzle format. I actually kind of like the way they do their bounty in this way.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's 9 cards total to complete the puzzle. And then for completing it, I never understand these bounty rewards. It's dumb. But every time I read them, I feel like I'm not making sense. So you get a top rookie bounty award card. Plus, there's limited black border out of 100, or there's auto versions out of 25. I assume that whether you get the black border out of 100 or the auto out of 25 depends on how fast you complete the. It's probably for the first 25 and then the next 100. Yeah. I would guess, but I don't know. And then the best part of O-Pee-Chee to me is always the Easter eggs, and of course those aren't announced, but we did a whole show or a big topic on Easter eggs just a few shows ago. Love that. So Troy, 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee is due to be released on February 14th, 2024. That's Valentine's Day.
So you're saying I have to tell my wife that I can't do anything that day because I'm going to be ripping O-Pee-Chee paper. I'm going to be like our favorite image of me laying on the ground, wrappers all around me, like American Beauty.
Oh, God. That's a good mental picture. Well, I was thinking if you haven't like already ordered my chocolates or roses, that maybe you just
get 5 cards.
O-Pee-Chee hobby boxes instead. I couldn't find pre-sale pricing yet, but I hope it's not more than like I think it was 70 this year.
Yeah, it's got to be 70 or lower.
Something like 60 would be better, but
yeah. Oh, but I guess Bedard will be in it, so they'll probably jack up the price a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, the one example is I saw Matthew Nyes and Luke Hughes, so they're in it for sure. Okay, got to mention PWCC quick. They as well are Gong Show partner and sponsor. Thank them very, very much for supporting our show. There's an August vintage auction that closes this week on Thursday, Troy. It has a couple of very nice hockey cards in it. A couple higher end Gretzky's. So there's a 1979 Topps PSA 9, which is a pop of 129. You can bid on. There's also an O-Pee-Chee, so 79 PSA 8, pop is 792. And then the third one is a Bobby Orr 1966 rookie, Topps PSA 6.5, pop 14, 171 graded higher. Other than being off-centered, it's a really, really nice looking card there. In addition, the current PWCC weekly auction is live right now. Just started. We'll run through this upcoming Sunday night. There's about 150 cards in the auction as of right now. Tune in most Sundays as the Hockey Cards lots close to our weekly auction watch party with myself and Jeremy Lee on Jeremy's Sports Cards Live YouTube channel. We, of course, cover all the cards closing. The show starts at 8:30 Central Time. It's very interactive. We chat, answer questions with the audience via the YouTube chat feature. So be sure to tune into that. And as always, Troy and I will highlight our favorite cards from the current PWCC weekly auction on this coming Thursday show. So again, for all these cards, auctions, the fixed price marketplace, pwccmarketplace.com. Are you ready for mailbag?
Mailbag, let's do it.
Let's do it. So the first question is from Aiden Hepburn. This one threw us off a little bit, but I don't know if you saw my answer to it.
Definitely threw me off. I'm sorry.
I think I figured out.
Okay.
I think I figured out like where it might be coming from. But
okay.
It's just a guess. So is it worth buying a case of Series 1 in order to get Series 2 for the same price? Bedard year. So I haven't heard anything, Aiden, about where you have to buy a case of Series 1 to get the same price for Series 2. But here's my theory, Troy. Maybe there's some local card shops that are throwing that out there to people. And because they ultimately set the price. But I'm pretty sure that the price from Upper Deck is going to be the same for each. Do you think that's a good, based on his question at least, that would be a logical reason?
That's a better answer than mine, where I was like, I didn't understand. I was like, I didn't see anything about this, but makes sense if that's what some shops are doing. I think your second question is a little more intriguing. Not the second question, but a Josh question from this person's question. So I'll let you ask that.
Yeah, so kind of along this topic, we're both hearing a little bit. I wouldn't say it's like a lot of people, but interesting that we both heard the same thing, that there's some secret plan that Upper Deck has been concocting to sort of shoehorn Bedard into Series 1. So I'm going to ask you, what % chance do you think that happens?
I don't watch. I look like an idiot. I say less than 1%, just from how the timing of things works, what we've heard from Upper Deck. However, that doesn't mean it won't happen. But I think if it does happen, I don't know what the picture would look like. I don't want him in a
photo shoot,
like photo shoot. I want him
JCPenney kind of.
Yeah, I want him in action with his jersey on. But maybe they can get it in there in time if they decide to. Everything I've heard, it sounded like Series 2. So I'm going to keep going with Series 2.
Yeah, I don't see how it happens either, but it is a mistake not to have him in Series 1. It goes from guaranteed slam dunk, everybody wins. If I was a local card shop, I would be very vocal to Upper Deck that he should be in Series 1. That's just me. Okay, next question. Twitter, Sebastian Engelhardt. He actually has 2 questions. He comes up with great questions. I love him. So his first one is, you have to pick one of the following to open for fun. So this is only for fun.
Okay.
What are you choosing and why? 50 boxes of MVP.
That's torture. That's not fun. That's torture.
20 boxes of O-Pee-Chee paper, 15 boxes of flagship, 10 boxes of stature, 5 boxes of SP Authentic, or 1 box of the cup. I'll let you go here first.
I think I gave away my answer with my American Beauty comment on the other one. I'm 20 boxes of O-Pee-Chee paper all day. It would be fantastic. It would be awesome. Rip away, finding Easter eggs. Love the design, especially even after we did the little preview. I think I'm really going to like O-Pee-Chee paper, so I'm going with that.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to the O-Pee-Chee paper all the way. 20 boxes sounds like a really good time. But if I did want to hate myself at the end, I'd go with the cup. Because, I'd end up with 6 names I've never heard of. That's my luck. All right, second question is, I just discovered the black canvas variant of Young Guns cards. Could you go over all the different Young Guns variants and how to spot them when opening a box? Thanks so much.
Yeah. So I started thinking about this, and I honestly don't think there's any way we can answer this question in the mailbag segment. Here's what I'm going to say. Go to Cardboard Connection or Google Cardboard Connection and put in like Upper Deck Young Guns guide. And I'm going to show it on the screen for YouTube. They have 2 actual pages on their website. They have an ultimate Upper Deck Young Guns checklist and team set guide where they go through from 1990 all the way to current release. They have the checklist, they have pictures, they have everything. And then they also have another guide. I didn't really look at what the difference of them is, but they do a way better job. And you can see all the different parallels and pictures and everything that's out there. So I would say do that for the past. And then we got to remember that with the new season coming up here, 23-24 Series 1, there's a whole refresh going on. And in the Young Guns set, I believe, I'm going to kind of read these off, Josh. You tell me if I get any of them wrong. There's going to be Young Guns base, which I think I have a picture of if you're watching on YouTube. We have the base. We have is that Jumbo? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, the Jumbo. We have Outburst Silver. There'll be clear cuts. There'll be Deluxe out of 250, Exclusives out of 100, Outburst Red out of 25, High Gloss out of 10. And then if you're watching YouTube, we're going to have the 101 Outburst Golds. And then it also looks like we should have the Canvas Young Guns, the Canvas Young Guns Black, and the Young Guns Acetate. So I get your question. You just got to look online at the checklist, unless we decide to cover this in a show. But it's way too much to go over just what every Young Guns look like and all the different variants.
Yeah, and then it's going to depend on what year you're opening, because anything prior to 2023-24, you're also going to have Young Guns French, which are going away as of the next release, or the very rare but very cool Young Guns Clear Cut exclusives, which have been discontinued as well.
Yeah, and it's truly just finding pictures. And also, if you just see something, I bet what happened is you got that Young Gun, was it the Young Guns canvas, or no, it was a black canvas. Yeah. And it's just something triggered in your head, like, whoa, that doesn't look right. That's half the time how I figure out I have an interesting card or an Easter egg. It's like, why is this guy in a suit? Or why is this the penalty box picture? Just something doesn't add up in your head, and then you go look and find out, oh, there's this card out there.
Well, I'll say a point you've made many times on our show. If Upper Deck would just print the name of the card and the variant on the back, that stuff like that would be so much easier.
Yep.
All right, next question from Gongshow Discord. Kings fan 0511. I just did my first grading submission and submitted my most valuable Young Guns and Future Watch Auto cards. If you're looking to move cards to get the most value, what are other high-profile cards you would consider grading? A little bit of a tough one. I mean, I think anything where you could logically get a 3x to 4x plus return on your investment. I think what's not working anymore, which did in the pandemic, is sort of a $10 base card. That is going to be worth 35 or 40 if graded. Those are, so anything that has, raw is worth $25 or more, maybe. And, it's going to be more risky as you return, the lower the raw value. But that's stuff that I would consider. What about you, Troy?
Well, I just said, as long as the finances make sense, if you do the math and it adds up, go for it. I mean, you can also look at Cup RPAs. I know that's one of the 3 that we talk about, right? For rookies, flagship, or the Young Guns, the Future Watch Auto, and then the Cup RPA. So maybe that's an actual card you look at. And then I started thinking to myself, Josh, do you grade the auto on the RPA if you have
it? Of course, yeah.
Now
that's the new thing. You got to get the auto grade.
We've seen that. I don't know. It just kind of came, I don't know if it came out of nowhere. I just wasn't paying attention. Now it's everything. Grade the auto, grade the auto. But yeah, so that's kind of it. To me, go back to the math, and you got to do your research. Think what grade the card's going to get, what you think you can sell it for, how much it's going to cost to grade, add that all up, and are you going to make a profit?
Yeah. All right, next question from Instagram, Zacho Vito. Are there any 101s that are known but haven't been found yet? So I'll take, there has to be a ton of them.
Yeah.
You can just look at the checklist. There's lots of boxes that haven't been opened, not just current ones, but you can go on Dave and Adams or go to local card shops and see boxes from 5-6 years ago. So there's got to be a lot of them. And kind of like we mentioned in our 101 segment, that there isn't a great resource that tracks these. It would be kind of cool if there was, but would also be a lot of work.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of work. And if someone knows of a resource, let us know, because I would love to see it.
Here's a great question from Instagram, The Real McCards. House is on fire. You can only save 5 cards in your PC. What do you take? All right, Troy, you can go first.
All right. Well, I cheated at first. I said I'm lucky that the cards I'd want to keep are all in these display cases on the wall, and they're not that heavy. So I try to grab all those, but that'd probably fall down.
You know what I'm picturing right now? Is your house on fire? You're running you push one of your kids away. Save yourself, child.
You gotta get my cards.
I'm going for my cards.
Yeah. So I said I'd grab all my cases, but that'd probably fall and trip. So I will go back to the spirit of the question. If it's 5 cards, I'm actually 3 are taken out right away. My 2013-14, the Cup autograph monumental patch Pekka Rinne cards. So that takes 3 of them. The next one would be the 83 O-Pee-Chee, Pelle Lindbergh, rookie PSA 9 I have. And then the last one I had to go with baseball because it's an 82 Topps traded, Kent Herbeck, rookie PSA 10. He was my favorite baseball player. I played baseball in college. I love baseball also. And he was like my favorite Minnesota Twin ever. So I have to grab that one too.
So my 4 best cards are not hockey cards. I have a 56 Topps Jackie Robinson PSA 7, 2 1960 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 6s, and then a 60 Topps Willie Mays PSA 7. So I'd probably keep those first. And then honestly, I was thinking, as I mentioned, like in our like goals or mistakes episode, I'm not in love with my PC for hockey right now. I have like millions of cards, but none I seem to really like. And so I'd probably just grab the McDavid patch auto out of 15 that I just pulled from Trilogy. And only because it's like the only good card I've ever pulled out of a pack. And so I have an attachment to it for that. Okay,
would
next question.
Be mad if I was just saying, would people be mad if I grabbed my Kaprizov PSA 10 Young Guns and like threw that into the fire and tried to help it along?
No, because there would be like 12 new PSA 10s that came that day. Anyway.
That's true.
All right, next question. Instagram, is it Kamave Cards? I don't know how to say this.
Yeah, Kamave Cards. Kamave Cards, I'm going to say.
Thoughts on Young Guns canvas cards? Seems to be a divide in the hobby. Is there? Is it like the Montagues and the Capulets with canvas cards here?
I actually do think there's kind of a divide. Like personally, really? I love canvas. I divide with myself. I love canvas cards. I'm not a fan of Young Guns canvas. I'd rather have the flagship Young Guns, not the canvas version.
I really like the canvas, and a lot of times I would prefer them to the regular Young Guns just based on look. But there's kind of a weird thing with the value in that the total pops seem to always be lower. But I think what prevents like really savvy investors from going deep in them is they're probably the highest quality cards. From like that Upper Deck produces. So the gem rates are always ridiculous. And so that was
say you should never get like lower than an 8 on a canvas card.
No. Yeah, really bad luck at that.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Instagram, Southeast Schmike. Great question. I haven't combined cards on e-Pack for a long time, so maybe I'm misremembering, but when you combine a Young Guns to make a silver parallel, what happens to that regular Young Guns? Is there a real copy of them somewhere, but are they gone from your inventory? Do you think that they are put back into circulation, or is Upper Deck holding them for buyback cards or something else? For example, where are all those McDavid Young Guns cards that people do combine into silver? Purely speculative question, as I don't think Upper Deck has ever answered this. Well, Southie, they have, and they did it on our show. I just can't exactly remember when, but I do know that when they're combined, they're destroyed.
They are. Yeah, I remember that.
Was it Daniel Machado that?
I think it was the e-Pack episode we did with Daniel Machado. If it wasn't, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he said they're destroyed. Now, what's interesting about this question? He says McDavid Young Guns. e-Pack wasn't around in 2015, was it? Has it been around that long?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's just using it as an example.
Okay.
His timeline might be, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been.
It could be right.
I know it's been around for a while. Upper Deck was really on the top of it when they came out with that product.
Okay, last question, Troy, from Instagram, Miles Grunling. Are cards with player inscriptions valuable in the hobby or often overlooked when compared to other autographs? So, Troy, I would say they're normally command a premium. You have to look no further than the Future Watch Auto, where the first 50 serial numbered are inscribed with the player's NHL debut date and really carry a big premium. But just beyond that, just from general appreciation, satisfaction, what was it in like the Slab Sharks auction last week where there was a Nicholas Lidstrom card where he had like 6-time or 4-time Stanley Cup champ or however many he won.
Yep.
So I love inscriptions, especially when it's a little bit of, gives you that kind of extra little bit of flair for that player.
For sure, like Mr. Hockey or the Great One. If that's on there, that's totally cool. Or really
Wayne
cool.
would never do that though, because I don't think he likes.
Yeah,
he's too humble.
What was unless there's the one guy that inscribed all his Future Watch autos? I can't remember. Was that Tanner Janot? No, I think that I don't.
Tyler Bertuzzi, isn't it?
Was it Bertuzzi? Yeah, I think it was.
So.
Inscribed them all.
All right, thank you to everyone who submitted questions. Great questions. A lot. It's amazing that we still get ones we've never been asked.
Yeah,
mostly. So. Very, very much appreciate that. All right, Troy, we teased it.
Yeah,
Get to end the show for the third straight time with personal pickups. we're going to let you, as our tradition, go first.
All right, here is my one personal pickup. So I got a 21-22 stature Pekka Rinne design and photo variant red parallel out of 11.
Nice.
So I love the picture. I love the intensity. His eyes wide open. I love it's out of 11. It's a parallel. I was actually, when stature came out, I went through the checklist, saw all the Pekkas, and I started watching eBay. And then I was just like, well, I don't know if I want to get like the base and the out of 99s. But once this one popped up out of 11, it's got the design and photo variant, which some people like, some people don't. I bought it. I had to get it.
It's a great card. I had one pickup as well. Mine is a 1997 Pinnacle Certified Joe Thornton Rookie Redemption Mirror Gold PSA 8. So if you've followed along, you'd probably think I'm a Joe Thornton collector at this point. But honestly, I keep buying these cards more for I like Joe.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good player. I'm assuming he'll be a Hall of Famer. I'm banking on it a little bit. But I just found some really amazing cards of his that because of the card, I couldn't pass it up. Because I just recently got his 1998 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor PSA 9, which is the highest graded copy of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably sell both at some point, but to me, it's just amazing to have two like very iconic 90s cards from a really good player. And so I'm happy about that. More about this set though, because I think I love how you can learn more about these older sets when you acquire stuff like this. So there were 12 rookies in the Rookie Redemption set for Panini Certified in 1997. The most notable other rookie is Patrick Marleau. So to go along with Thornton, and then there's 10 other guys there too. So this is a PSA 8 copy, of course. I traded the one that I traded for. It's the only one graded by PSA. But, no, they're not numbered, but they got to be pretty scarce because I went and looked at Beckett when I was interested in this card, and there's been 3 graded by Beckett: 7.5, 8, and 1.9. So you could probably make the argument that the 1.9 is better than this one, but dollar equivalency wise, are probably a horse apiece in value. So it's one of the top 2 best. And as we've talked about, like with Thornton, he's in that weird period, just like with Jerome McGinley, where they don't have great rookie cards. So I thought, man, this could be a really special card. And then again, they're a sponsor, so just to say that I got to throw again more props to my card post. They're really picking up steam, by the way. So Troy, in the last 2 weeks, I've traded now for that 1998 Bowman's Best Thornton Atomic Refractor PSA 9, a 2012 Fleer Retro Yarmir Yager Noise Boys PSA 10, and this card, a 1997 Pinnacle Certified Thornton Rookie Redemption Mirror Gold PSA 8. Very, very happy. And then just one last quick little thing about my card post. If you're still sleeping on him, give him a shot. It's funny, on this trade, I had to work a little bit, go back and forth, and the first offer was rejected, but their platform makes it really easy to counter offer and to go and to work back and forth. And you can see every card that the other person has available, and they can see every card you have available. And it's just so simple. And they did such a good job with the design of that platform to make it very intuitive. And just in general, too, there's so much flexibility with all the deals you can do. So you can buy, sell, which of course you can do on any card platform. But you can also make like multiple card offers. So if somebody has 6 cards you like and you want to, just like you do at a card show, you could do cash plus card trade. So I'll give you these 3 cards and $50 for that card kind of deal. And like I said, basically everything you can do at a card show. And they do charge a subscription to sell and trade. So that's one thing you need to know. But because it's so much like a card show, and they have like 1,500 growing members, it's like it's $9 a month. And so if somebody were to say, "Hey, would you buy a table to do deals at a local card show that had 1,500 attendees for $9? Would you do that?" In that context, to me, it seems like a good deal. And so again, they're a sponsor, so I get that, and they sponsor our pack opening videos. But I'm having so much fun. Just trade, and I feel like I'm getting great cards. So just shout out to them for, I guess, how they're changing the hobby, I think, in a positive way. All right, Troy, we made it. That's our show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you like the episode, please leave a rating review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, Want to support us? Want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server? Want to play in our 5K challenge this year? Please consider a donation starting at $5 a month. Join our out of $199 support level tier on Patreon or our Triple Gold Club and be a super supporter. The link is in the show description on YouTube or on the podcast app you're listening to us on. It's within our Instagram profile and TikTok and Instagram. I said that twice. That's okay. It's been a lot. It was an hour and 50 minutes into the show. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and there's a link there. Or you can go to the Patreon website at patreon.com. We're on social media, Troy. You should follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures, LLC. Thank you all for listening. We will have a great week. We'll see you on Thursday.